Hi, I'm Marie. Welcome to Marie's Kitchen. I'm so glad you're back. Hope you guys are staying safe and sane during this crazy quarantine. Today we're making my #1 all-time favorite recipe ever in the history of recipes. It's crab cakes, and they are so good. I'm a huge fan of crab cakes. After tasting all these different crab cakes, this is the recipe I've come up with, and I've even made it better than before. Now you can cook 15 to 20 crab cakes all at once in your oven instead of having to fry them individually on the stovetop. So they are just so good, so easy, and they are so impressive if you ever want to serve friends. I know we can't even see friends right now, but at some point in the future you wanted to have a dinner party and serve some friends, you could serve these crab cakes as an appetizer or a main course. These are just really, really near and dear to my heart, and I'm really excited to share them with you. Let's get started. Crab cakes, what do you need? Panko, some form of breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, great for flavor, I always keep it in my fridge, Hellmann's mayo. There's not a lot of mayo, don't worry, this is not like a mayo fest here. It just helps it kind of hold together and gives it some flavor. Then we have green onions, basil. If you don't have basil, you could use another herb like tarragon or even parsley or cilantro if that's your preference, or if you have none of that, you can leave it out. You do need something green, the green onion or the basil. Hopefully you can keep one of those in. Old Bay seasoning is a wonderful seafood seasoning, and this is just something I always have in my spice cabinet. It has salt in it, so you don't need to add extra salt. It's got great flavor. It's really good with the crab, also good on other things.
Burgers,
fries,
pasta.
popcorn, pasta, shrimp. So great thing to have in your pantry. Also need an egg, lemon, and 1 pound of crab. If you can't find crab, which is funny, these are crab cakes, okay? It's like crab, the main ingredient. People are like, what if you don't have crab? I'm like, well, then you're not making crab cakes. But seriously though, you can switch it out. I have made these with, I had leftover salmon, one of those situations where you make this wonderful salmon dinner and then nobody's in the mood for salmon. Been there. So no, you have all this leftover salmon and nobody wants it, and you break it up into pieces and make it into salmon cakes. So this is versatile. You can switch it out with other fish. So don't freak out if you can't get crab. I know it's kind of a specialty item that may be hard to get. All right, enough talking. Let's get cooking. The main thing here is you want to add the crab last, because we're going to mix all these first 8 ingredients all together, mix them up real well together. And
paste, right?
Almost, yeah. And you don't want to have the crab in there. If you have the crab in there, well then when you're mixing, you're breaking up all the crab too. So that's the one thing you need to be careful in this recipe, is put all the first ingredients in, and then after that's all mixed, then you fold in the crab. So easy, but just something to remember. So we're going to start with 1/4 cup of panko.
Chop the green onions.
Yeah, sure. I like to see you're washing your hands there, girl. So 1/4 cup of panko. And Jack, do you want to start chopping my green onions?
Yeah.
Oh, I look like you guys are taking over, which is fine. Okay, so next we need 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Yep, that's great, Betty. I think that'll be plenty.
Mama, you're in the way.
I'm in the way. I'm in the way.
You're in the way.
Right. Okay, so we're just chopping up some green onion.
Onion. Wait, that's onion?
It's green onion.
I never knew they had green onion.
Okay, so now we're going to do 1/4 cup of the Hellmann's mayo. Oh, come on. Put it in.
No, God.
This girl. Okay, all good? There, we did our mayo. Yeah, just go ahead and dump all that in. That's fine. We'll have a little extra onion. So now we'll have some fresh basil.
Fresh basil. And
let me show you how I cut the basil. And to cut the basil, I just stack the leaves up like this. And then you're going to roll them up.
roll them
I
up.
think when I learned
Can I
this,
cut?
they said you would roll it up like a cigar. Who is rolling up cigars? I don't know, not me. I've never rolled up a cigar, so I don't know where I got that. But some cookbook I read at one time said roll them up like a cigar.
Also, we have maybe. Yeah.
Good work. Good, that was fun. Okay, stop. Okay. And basil is just such a fresh, summery flavor. If you have it, or if you happen to have it at your grocery store, you can get lemon basil. And that is an even better flavor. It's just got that great citrusy hint of citrus in there. Will you measure the Old Bay for me? I need a teaspoon of that. Yes, please. Flatten it off so it's just 1 teaspoon.
I can do that easily.
Yeah, lovely, lovely. Yes, Jack is my super chef over here. Okay, pour that in. Thank you so much. Okay, Jack's gonna do some lemon zest. This is not required if you don't have a zester. So you just zest a lemon like this, okay? You don't want to go through the first layer of rind. You don't want to go into the pith because the pith can be very bitter. So that's it, zest and turn and zest and turn. Now I'll add an egg. Okay, here's my egg. Mix that in. And we'll just mix this. I love how professional we are. I have like a soup spoon that I'm stirring everything with, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. We're almost done. I mean, thank you so much. That looks great. Doesn't it smell good?
Yeah.
So good. Okay, so now we'll add our lemon zest here, just for extra real good lemon flavor in there. If you don't have the lemon zest, that's okay. You can squeeze some little lemon juice in, or just squeeze a little lemon juice on after. Either way is fine. I just love the citrus with the crab. So here we have it, our mixture all stirred up. Like I told you in the beginning, you do want to mix this up really well before you add the crab. The crab, you don't want to have to stir it up real well, or you're going to break up all the lumps out. And it should smell fresh like crab. To add the crab, what we're going to do is I'm going to use my hands and just sort of gently run it through my fingers like this to make sure I don't feel any shells, pieces of shells.
I've bitten into a couple crab cakes with shells.
Yeah, you have sometimes just a little piece in there. It's not a big deal, but you do want to just let your hands run through it just lightly in case, you know, you can avoid it. These are nice big pieces. So now we're just going to gently fold the crab in. That looks great. So now we'll just make the crab cakes into the little cakes, and I like them on the small side, really just like 1 or 2 bites as finger food. And they
like meatballs almost.
Yes. Here's another great tip for these crab cakes. You can make them ahead and keep them in the freezer. So you can make them ahead someday when you have a little more time. Put them in the freezer and then just pull them out as you want to cook them. And you can cook them straight from frozen. You will need to cook it a little longer, but they come out just fine cooking from frozen. As far as jobs for kids, zesting lemons and peeling carrots are 2 of your favorite jobs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like chopping.
Jack likes chopping, a little more advanced. Okay, so these are ready to go. A lot of times what I'll do at this point is store them in the freezer, and it just hardens them a little bit, makes them a little easier to work with so they don't fall apart. So you can pop them in your freezer while you're getting your oven set up. We're preheating the oven to 425. Okay, so it's almost preheated. I'll just set these in the freezer for a few minutes while we are preheating the oven, and then they're ready to bake all at once. So easy. We are preheating the oven to 425 convection. I love convection. If you have it, it circulates all around almost like an air fryer, and so it's going to really crisp up the outsides of the crab cakes.
Are we heating up the oven or the stove?
The oven. Isn't it great? We're going to use the oven. So it'll really crisp up the crab cakes, which is exactly what you're going for. Crispy on the outside, nice and soft in the center. So we're using a baking sheet. Then I'm going to pour about 2 tablespoons or so oil on the baking sheet.
2 tablespoons of
olive oil.
A lot of olive oil.
Kind of a lot, yeah. So you just kind of cover.
You call that not a lot?
No, it's a lot, kind of a lot. So
it's a lot.
She's wearing sunglasses because because the lemon. It's like when you cut an onion that makes your eyes water. The lemon apparently causing some problems?
Yeah,
It looks very cool. Otherwise, I mean, it looks cool. I like it. Now we're going to put this pan with the oil on it in the hot oven. We're going to heat up the pan and the oil, and that will help get us a nice sear on our crab cakes like you would get on the stovetop, but without the mess. So I'm going to put this in the oven at 425 for about 3 to 5 minutes. You don't want it, smoking, but you do want to heat up the pan and the oil. So we'll pop that in the oven. I've got a timer going for 3 minutes while we're heating up the pan. Then we will just add the crab cakes, pop them back in the oven, and cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. Timer went off. We're going to pull these out and flip them. So we're just going to flip them here. You've got a fish spatula. So back in the oven for another 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, it sounds like the crab cakes are ready. Let's pull them out. There they are, and they look so good, and I just love how easy it was to just cook these in the oven all at once. Now we'll just move them over to a white serving platter. I love white serving platters. This one I think is from Target. It's just very affordable, but it makes all your food look so good. So I love to serve the crab cakes on that. Also, what I love to do is add some greens, some mixed greens over here in the corner, kind of dress up the plate a little bit. Y'all, this looks so good when it's all set out. It's so fancy. So then we'll just take our crab cakes and pop those over here next to the greens. And then on the greens, you can put a little oil and vinegar on them, and you just kind of have this, some greens with a good vinegar flavor to go with it. And then I have a little bowl here for some remoulade sauce, or I don't have any remoulade sauce today, so I'm just going to use a little ranch dressing. These look so good. They're nice and crispy, and yet still soft in the center, just like you get on the stovetop, except without the mess, which is huge. And a little container of dipping sauce. It's always good to have something creamy to go with the crab cakes. We'll set that right there for dipping, and then I do a little oil and vinegar on the greens to season those. Olive oil. Salt. This is ready to serve, and I feel like we're at a fancy restaurant. It looks so divine. You just dip that in the ranch or remoulade, whatever you have, and that looks incredible. Yum. Yum. It's so good. The crab and a little bit of lemon. You get a little basil and onion with the seasoning from the Old Bay, but none of it's overwhelming. It's just wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us on Marie's Kitchen. Today we made these unbelievable, easy crab cakes that are so good with so little mess and just a little bit of chopping. Let me know if you do get to try it. Also, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I would love to hear from you. Also, I hope you'll subscribe. I've got lots more videos coming up with all kinds of really good, really easy recipes that are specifically designed to help you improve and increase your confidence in the kitchen, and have just recipes that you love making and that you're proud to make and that taste good and that you want to share with people that you love, because that really is what this is all about. From my kitchen to yours. Thank you.
Here.
You can, no. No, thank you. My goodness, there's an echo in here.
My goodness, there's an echo. No, it sounds funny when I say this. I was gonna welcome to happy holidays. Welcome to a live kitchen.
So that's a lot of so's. I think I'll start that one over.
I'm alive.